Hi, everyone. Oh, let me put on my AirPods. Hello, hello, hello. Ooh. We got some lighting in here. Oh, I have some balloons above my head. How are you guys doing? I am going to see. Perfect. How I can share this link. Give me just a second. Here we go. Okay, and I have one more. I just want to put it on Instagram real quick. Here we go. Give me a second. How do I swap? So much to talk about today, and we're just gonna let people in while I figure out how to let people know that I am live right now. There was so much that happened today, and excuse me, I ended up having to move my schedule around. So it's been kind of a busy day, but we are going to try to make it happen. Give me a second here. Let's see. I couldn't figure out how to put a link up before I started this live. So we are going to do it right now while I'm chatting with you guys. Let me just kind of put it live real quick, let people know. A couple of my friends are going to their mother-son dance tonight. So I'm seeing some of those photos right now on YouTube now at 6 p.m. Come join me. Here we go. All right. Oh, you know what? I should probably make that a clickable link. That's probably a good idea. And then link it. Here we go. And here we go. Oh, yay, we have two people. Yay, thank you. All right. Say hi to me. I want to see you guys in the chat. All right, so we're done on posting it. All right, everyone. I hope you're well. Hi, Sean. Good to see you. We haven't improved much today from last week because this thing is still here. But we will. We're working on it. Right. I think next week our goal is to get a new camera, right, Sean?
Yes.
And maybe a mic. Is that right? Or what are you planning to do?
Possibly. I haven't looked into that yet.
Hi, Lena. You love this show tool? What do you mean?
Two.
Oh, the show too. Oh, sorry. Okay. Bad eyes. Gosh, I'm getting old now. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. We have a few things to talk about. I didn't really script anything this week. I should have. I kind of have a mental outline of kind of some things I want to cover. But in general, we're just gonna wing it. So thanks for coming. It's 6 o'clock. I know I had it scheduled for originally last week at 1 p.m. I was gonna see everybody. Then I realized I had a Galentine's lunch. So we pushed it to 2, but when I got to the event, lunch wasn't served till 1:30, and I was like, oh my God, there's no way I'm gonna make it. So I gave an update on my Instagram that I was gonna go at 2:40. But then on my way home, I got stuck in traffic. So then I had a bunch of work to do. So I said, you know what? I have to finish work. I'll swing on at 6. So maybe this time works better for a lot of people. Not too sure. But we'll just kind of see. So from last week to this week, a few things happened. Sean went to our father-daughter dance with Kara. That was on Saturday. And since the gym was already done, Shane and I went on Sunday. So that was really fun. We both had a really good time. What do you think, Sean? You had a great time?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was really nice. Sean and I are actually we like to party. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes, we do.
So, I mean, this wasn't out of the ordinary. I think, well, Sean partied so much that he said his feet hurt from dancing. And I was just dancing galore, had so much fun. And Shane said he was so glad that I encouraged him to go because he had such a good time. We were dancing. He did hula hoop. He did the limbo. They had, what's that tossing of the beanbag game? Where you toss the beanbag to the other side? Sean? Cornhole.
Cornhole.
Yeah, so Shane played cornhole, but then with all boys there, it got really dangerous because they were tossing it and then eventually became throwing it. So if you had to cross the path to go take some photos, it was super dangerous. But hi there. Thank you everyone for coming in. Make sure you say hello in your chat so I can say hi to you. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So that was that. Sunday morning, our kids had a church takeover where the kids took over church. And so that was really awesome. Kara had done the intro. So we actually met during the week and she had a co-host and they kind of mentioned that they discussed upcoming events for church. They both did so excellent. So is Kara and then her co-host was Shaden. He did awesome. And then Shane was, he has great memory. So they had him talk about he say a verse, so he did that to open up church. So it was amazing. We had a great time. As far as what we do here on this show, it's just kind of getting to know us. And also I am a realtor and an attorney, so that's how I came up with the name YourREALbestie. So REAL is real estate and law. So I'm your go-to girl if you have any questions. And also it's just an opportunity for you to get to know me. So today what happened was I had an event at Galentine's Day lunch. It was hosted by Doctors on Lean. And what they do is I do personal injury. So we call it PI or PI attorney. I do other things as well, but one of my main concentrations is PI. And that's when, there's a car accident or a work injury, people would come to us and we would help them get care. And then after that, hopefully they can obtain an award or damages, which is what we would call it, for the pain and suffering for the harm done to them. So Doctors on Lean, what they do is they actually connect attorneys like myself with doctors who are able to take on the client on a lien, meaning that the attorney's office would take on the responsibility and we would be the lien. I don't know if you call it the lien holder, but we would be responsible for the lien, and the doctor would work on the client until there is a settlement. And then when there is, they would be paid. So these doctors don't require our clients to pay up front. So that's what they do. I've used their services. So they invited me to their Galentine's lunch. And to be honest, it was a very tough morning for me. I kind of felt like I didn't want to go. Um, I was feeling a little bit sad, and I was just like, oh, if I go there, everyone around might be really happy, and I just didn't know how I was going to feel in that type of environment. And so I was a little bit unsure. Then I was a little bit late. I had things to do, so I wasn't on time. And I just felt like, maybe I won't go. But it's one of those things that if you're a believer and they say, like, not today, Satan. And so that's kind of what I was walking myself through, even driving there when there was traffic on the freeway to the restaurant we were at, Water Girl, by South Coast Plaza in Costa Mesa. I was like, oh, maybe there's traffic. I should just turn back, and then just I kept telling myself, like, no matter what, I'm just going to have to just show up. So I just kind of went through the pain, thought about things. And then when I showed up, it ended up being a really fabulous time. I really enjoyed being around my table. We got to know each other really well. And I had discussed that I needed to leave to be on my new YouTube show that I was doing. And so they asked why. And so we went through what led me to have the show, which was through the loss of our son, Shay, who has trisomy 18. So it was really great. I mean, it was so welcoming. They loved on me so much. And what was great was one of the girls was talking about how the lady next to her has said, everybody carries their own burden. And so essentially saying, like, we don't know and we should be nice to one another. So when I shared my story, they said, oh my God, the stars aligned. And it's exactly what we were discussing with one another. So hopefully they catch on, or they're here, or they're a part of my rewatch crew. But hello, ladies. It was so nice. Just a few fun questions I wanted to kind of, well, I have one in mind, and it's just so that you guys can get to know us. Sean and I. Sean is my husband, but also the producer of the show. So, Sean.
What, are you asking a question?
Yeah, I'm asking you a question. And I don't even know where I heard this question. Oh, I know. I was watching a podcast. So that's me. I was watching a podcast, and the girl is asking her guest. It was actually her grandmother her mom and her great grandmother. If they would like, if they're like a text person or a calling kind of person.
Okay.
So my question to you is, would you text someone or would you call someone?
I would text someone, preferably. Usually. If it's someone I know, I might call.
And why is that? Excuse me, you guys. I have like something in my throat. Sean, can you get me water afterwards? Sorry.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. I don't like calling new people is not my thing.
Yeah, I am a calling kind of person. I just like to talk. Plus, it's kind of nice so that, because when you write things in, when I read an email, and sometimes it can be misconstrued or there's not enough information in there, I try to just make sure that if there could be any chance of not having clarity, I'm going to give a client a call. So that's what I usually do. And even for a friend, it's like it takes too much time to text, and you can talk into it now, but still, I would just rather give somebody a call. And it's good to hear their voice, How about you, Lena? What would you say? Are you a texting or a calling? Oh, and then not calling anymore. If it's somebody that I do know, I'm about FaceTiming. So I love that. I don't love Zoom. Yeah, that's not my motive. That's like, I feel like that's a meeting kind of thing. But Lena says text is good. Yeah. I like calling. I love FaceTime. Anybody that I do know on a personal level, you're getting a FaceTime call from me once in a while. So, okay. Oh, and then, let's see. What else should we talk about, Sean? I did. And I'm going to get to that. Yeah. Sean was saying I have a title, which is, are you doing things for the right reason? Oh, Lena says texting allows the other person to answer at their own time. That's true. That is very true. And I feel like the newer generation considers phone calls like rude, which is, I don't think it's rude. If you miss my call, you can call me back. I mean, not a big deal, you know. But I think uh I've heard that that's what it seems like. So I have to be very careful sometimes when I'm like, um, dealing with my cousins or something. I don't want to be rude. Call me back when you're not busy. Or, call me when you're not busy. So, oh, I can give you a real estate update. So I am in California, and I'm actually located in Southern California. I'm located in Orange County, but I'm licensed throughout the state of California. Specifically, I do work in Sacramento, and then from there I work in Los Angeles County, Orange County, Inland Empire, and then we even go down to San Diego. So this week we had a listing, and we went live, and oh my goodness, it is so active. Within a day, we got an offer already. It's just so crazy. So when we have clients, we try to tell them about the market and what to expect. And so on a buyer side, I was trying to tell our clients that the market's picked up, and the houses that they had wanted to see were now off market. They have accepted an offer, or they actually kind of just took off the homes from the market. And also I'd seen, I talked to my colleagues. I'm a part of a few real estate organizations, and we were just talking about how the market has picked up so quick. And the reason why is generally buyers want to buy during the season. It's truly super busy during April and May. You think summer season because they're out for the summer, but generally what we see in this market is that buyers will want to buy around by April, May. So they close by June, they're moving, and then they're on vacation. So between right now, we're starting to see more houses on the market. But what's going on is a lot of sellers are so in love with their interest rate. I mean, some of us have interest rates of like 2.75 or 2.875, and interest rate right now can be about 6% or so, give or take, depending, on your credit score and what type of loan. And so we always say like they're in love with their rate, but not with their home. And so this becomes less homes on the market. And then now we have a slew of buyers who are wanting to buy, but less homes on the market, which means that the homes that are now being listed are going to go because there's a lot more buyers. And there was a little bit of time in January where you can kind of negotiate the list price a little bit down. And I have a feeling that starting now, we're probably going to get list price if it's priced fairly. Sometimes people list it very high, and so you have to ask for a price reduction to make sure that it comes back at value. But I just wanted to give you a quick facts, and this is actually the facts that I have are from our friend Stephen Thomas from housingreports.com. He gave information on market time change. So mid-January versus today, and let's just talk about Orange County. In mid-January, it's 81 days on market. So that's like when it's listed to when it's closed. And now, as of yesterday, it was 49 days. So you'd lost 32 days. Homes are going that much quicker. So what does that mean? Basically, if you like a house, you can't really sleep on it and think about it. If you like it, there's less inventory out there. If you love it, you probably want to consider putting in an offer. Perhaps you could try, because I have a lot of clients saying, "Oh, do you think I can ask for, a discount or, a lower, put in get my offer accepted at a lower price than the list price?" You can try, but definitely what I'm seeing is if it's priced fair, I'm seeing it at list price, and that's the price that is being sold at. So hopefully that helps. That's just a really quick market update. And then I just want to talk about quickly the cases that are going on. The first case we'll talk about is the Alex Murdaugh case. And this case is about an attorney in South Carolina who is alleged to have killed his son and his wife. And that's on the criminal side. There's also on the civil side where he's alleged of like misappropriation of funds. So he's, stolen money from his firm and he owes money to his friend. And so and now in the court, this is actually currently going on. I believe it's like day 15. But what's going on is oh, Sean, you can't leave. Just kidding. So what's going on is that the case that is in court is a criminal case. And the judge is allowing for the information from the civil case to be introduced in the criminal law case. And I just wanted to discuss about like a high level of what I think of what's going on is from an attorney's perspective, I feel, and this is my personal opinion, and you can feel different, and that's okay, is that there's not enough facts to show that he really killed his son and his wife. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence that they're trying to prove the motive of why he would kill his own loved ones. And one of the reasons they're claiming the motive is because of the financial crimes. The prosecution is saying that, well, that he killed his wife and his son so that these financial crimes that he did will go away. What do you think about that, Sean?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because all the stuff, if you really follow the case, and I don't want to go into detail, I'll go into that later on when I'm actually doing, the fancy screens and I'm able to play stuff for you guys to watch. And hopefully we could do it on a daily basis and we'll actually go through the court procedures and what we can discuss. So just on a high level today. Why don't you think so, Sean?
I don't think that killing them did anything.
Yeah.
I don't agree that they would let the cases go. I think they would still go after him.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Like to prolong it a couple weeks or maybe a month or two, you'd kill your family. I don't know.
Yeah, the witnesses were on the stand for the prosecution side, and they were saying that he loved his son. They were best friends, and the wife and him had a fabulous relationship. So there is no
there's no evidence.
Yeah, evidence of even like
actual crime.
Well, there's no evidence of them like wanting to get a divorce. We're like, oh, they're going to present that. Somebody has that information, but then that wasn't presented. But I just wanted to present like a theory. I haven't heard anyone really talk about it, but like, okay, if someone stole millions of dollars or like $1 million or even $192,000 from you, like you're probably going to be really mad. And maybe that could be someone's like life savings that they are needing because of a crime that occurred against them, or not a crime, but like an injury that occurred against them, and they really need the money, let's just say for care, right? So you kind of would be upset. My theory is it would be hard for Alex to do everything that he did, which is shoot with 2 guns, and they can't find the gun or that shot the bullets, and there was 2 different kinds of bullets. And then in the timeline, didn't give him that much time to like clean himself up, put on different clothes, and then go back out and hide everything with him. I think it was just like 15 minutes or so, Sean. Do you remember? It wasn't that long. So he couldn't have done all this stuff. But my theory is that someone was really mad at Alec. It's actually Alex, but they call him Alec with the like ALEC. And so I feel that someone was really angry at Alec for doing this. And so that's why they like harmed his family. So it is more like a revenge. Um, because like even on Alec, they just had a little bit of the gun residue, right, Sean? What is it called?
Gunshot residue.
Yeah, gunshot residue. Um, and it, it could have been when, it was just a little bit on the t-shirt, and it could have been just like when he like, kind of helped his
He was holding a weapon.
well, he was holding a weapon, but didn't he like try to like lift his son too? Like,
They claim he rolled him over,
yeah.
but they say it's more likely it's from the shotgun that he went to get after he found them
Yeah. So
to protect himself.
I mean, this is so interesting, and we can really get into it. And we will. But just from my perspective, I think it was because they are very upset with Alec. And I'm usually all for it when um prosecution brings on a case. I would like to see them find the person who did the horrific crimes, but in this case I just don't feel like it's adding up. It's just a lot of theory, but not a lot of true circumstantial evidence. And so they're allowing these now financial crimes to come in to show motive. But really, what I feel like it's doing is it's just bad character evidence. I mean, we all know that he's a bad person, like for committing the financial crimes, but really, I don't feel like it goes to show his ability, like him actually, killing his son that he loves and a wife that he loves so dearly. So, let me know what you guys think. Totally open to it. And that's just my perspective and Sean's perspective. There's also another case that's going on, which I definitely should know the case name, but let me pull it. There's so many cases that are going on. There's even a social media one that happened where the girlfriend, she is alleged to have killed her boyfriend, and then there was like elevator videos of her like beating him up, and he's just standing still, like he's not doing anything violent against her. But we'll talk about that one at another time. Let me pull this case and let you know. It's about a rap artist who is then murdered. His name is like XXX. So XXXTentacion's um murder. So basically, the rapper has $50,000 in cash, and he's in Florida, and he's taking the money so that he can go buy some motorcycles. I don't know if it's one or two, not sure on how many. But what ends up happening is he pulls up to, and I don't know where, but he pulls up somewhere, and then there's these three defendants, or I think it's four, but one admitted, took a plea bargain. So there's three now left, three defendants who are alleged to have shot um, XXX and taken his money, the $50,000 cash. And what happened was they say they're innocent. There's a photo though of one of the defendants after robbing and killing XXX. Um, one of the defendants posts on social media a photo of him sitting with all the money and holding it up and holding like, and kind of like bragging about it. And so that's interesting. And this is my first time seeing this, and it may happen in other states and other courts. But the interesting thing about this case is it's one prosecution and three defendants with three separate attorneys. So there was three opening statements at the same time. This all happened yesterday. So I didn't catch up with what happened today. But that's so interesting because, they're each arguing their own case, saying that, their client, that particular defendant is innocent. So it's like if I was a juror, I was like, I wouldn't be able to keep up.
Yeah, I'd be confused.
I would be so confused. And actually, I would say, like, that's not a fair trial because, like, it's all jumbled in, all the facts, you know? So, I mean, that's just my personal perspective. Um, I think this one, and I'm not too sure, I'll have to check my facts. But what happened was, um, I believe it was XXX, or it could be one of the defendants, but I believe it was one of the parties went on to Turo, which is kind of like an Airbnb, but you go get your own car. And I mean, someone rents out their own car, rented out the car, and then the crime occurred. Like, I would be like, oh my God, this is crazy. I like leased out or rented out my car and someone committed a crime in it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just insane. Okay. So that's that. That's just a quick discussion of the two cases that are going on. There's so many other interesting ones. There's the Brian Walsh, who's accused of killing his wife and who's also a mother of his 3 children. I mean, that's just terribly so sad. He chopped her up, put her into bags, um, and there's videos of him going to Home Depot, buying, they say, like $400 worth of cleaning supplies that no one would buy that much. And his sons were around him while this was all happening. It's just so interesting. He had a hearing. Um, and it's just like a progression, but they, are you ready? Should we proceed? Things like that. So he was in court. I just, my first impression of the case was, I was telling Sean, I had seen on social media this beautiful lady who was missing. And I had seen a lot of people write, women don't just leave their family, especially their kids. Moms don't leave their kids. So if the mom is missing for, I think at that time, 3 days, um, something is not right. And the people who reported her missing was actually her work. So she lives in a state, but then she travels to another state to work. And the people from work were saying she didn't show up to work. So that's when she was reported missing and they started trying to find her. Come to find out that unfortunately her husband is alleged to have killed her. And I think it was just for money. So it's just so sad. And um, it's just terrible, and then especially for the sons, to be without a mother, and then now even a father who's locked up, for the time being, and then if he's found guilty, he's gonna be locked up for a while. And they even said, like, for the children, there there was no family around. The wife's family, I believe, was from Yugoslavia, so her parents and her family are in another country, so they couldn't take the children. So what ended up happening was the neighbors ended up volunteering to take care of the children until they could be put into better hands. So I thought that was really sweet of the neighbors. Okay, so that's all we have on cases. So we went through law, some cases. I asked Sean a question on whether texting or calling. We're opposites. He's a texter. I'm a talker, so I love to call. And that's that.
How could that be?
What do you mean? That we like each other?
No, that I'm over here being quiet and you're the one talking.
Oh, I know, right? Hello. So the topic of today is, are you doing things for the right reasons? And I just bring it up because I journeyed through a couple of things this past week, and I thought I could share it with you guys and, hopefully inspire you to think about whether the decisions that you are making are for the best. So for me, it was, I am associated with, many groups, and sometimes people don't make the proper decision. And as an attorney, we're held to higher standards. And so some decisions were made that I felt was not proper. So I explained my perspective to certain people, and it still wasn't received. And I just thought, wow, like, and I have to be general, but I'm like, wow, how could you think what I'm not thinking is like not right? Because for me it's so clear, and maybe because I've seen case law and I really understand um that you shouldn't behave in a particular way. Like, I just don't understand it. And they were saying, "Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. So and so says like this is okay." And so I had a lot of conflict. And thankfully through age, I really sat and I prayed about it, I thought about it, and I was like, God, please just give me like the wisdom and the guidance to make the right decision. I'm a person who, once I make a commitment, I try to carry it through. And because sometimes, I've had some regrets in my life and I'm like, oh, I just wish I stuck it through. And, maybe I turned away from something too quick. So now I try to kind of finish my tasks as much as possible. Uh, and so I had a lot of turmoil. And what I would call it is misalignment of the core. So we had misalignment of the core from the other person and myself. Um, and I think when it's the core, it's very hard to build a trusting friendship, a trusting relationship, because those are things where that's how someone has grown up. That's how someone has been taught all these years how to function, how to think about things. And even though we're coming in and trying to give them the right perspective, they may not receive it well, and they may not want to even hear it. And so instead of looking at it as constructive criticism, it can be received as um, being rude or disrespectful, instead of understanding that it comes from a place of love and of the want to help. So once I kind of thought about it and I prayed about it, it took a few days. I had listen to a few things, and I'll get into on my next example. But on this one, I just, eventually made the decision that, I need to step away. And I want to say that if you're ever in that position where you're kind of not knowing what you're doing is the right thing to do, I encourage you to pull yourself out from that situation and maybe even call some people that you confide in, um I'd call my sister, or my dad, or a good friend, or a fellow attorney to double check, certain things. So and I would even also say read on it and see how the universe speaks to you. And sometimes the universe can speak to you through a book, or like through YouTube or Facebook. You could hear stuff that comes through your feed, the videos you watch, or, sometimes somebody posted something. You're like, oh my God, that was the answer I was looking for. So just be open to that. And so I apply that to here, another example of what happened. You know, Launching this YouTube is has been, a journey, because as you see, I'm not ready. Like, I don't feel qualified. I just feel like God has offered the wrong person to step up and come and share my journey and my struggles, and kind of what I've learned and my wisdom as well. And so um one of the things is like, like as of last week, it's like you launch and you want to make sure people are watching it. You're making sure you're getting subscribers. And um, not to say that I was disappointed away. I was actually really surprised. Like, we did pretty well. At least for me, I didn't have much standards. I guess I don't know. I was just kind of playing by ear. But I then realized, like, I shouldn't care about how many views I got. I shouldn't care about how many likes to this video. But what I should really focus on is like, am I doing the right thing through this channel, which is to create, you know, um, sisterhood or brotherhood. I listen to this podcast and it's always like, "Good morning, beautiful," and then I always say, "And handsome," because the person watching is Sean and I. So I definitely want to be inclusive. Um, and so yeah, I asked the question of like, am I doing the right thing? And I feel like, I guess I'm doing the right thing, and it shouldn't matter to me the numbers, the counts. It's about if I can help someone and help them see that that they are loved, because you all are, and you are special. Um, but that means more to me than wanting to do this for anything else. Um, so that was a journey, and that was really what inspired me to write about the title that I did and the topic of today's discussion. I also pulled a verse that was kind of neat that I thought kind of applied. It's loading, so I'll let that load. But while we wait it load, make sure you say hi in the chat, by the way, to our visitors. Hello, welcome. One of the other things is, hi, Sean. What are you doing?
Nothing
Are you
bad.
trying to find a mic?
Yeah.
Oh.
Keep on going.
I forgot, what was I going to talk about, Sean?
A verse that was loading?
Yeah, the verse isn't loading. I don't know why it's not loading. Do you have any comment about what I was saying? Oh, I know what I was going to go into. So one of the other things that, to prepare for today, I was just trying to find things to look up and kind of educate myself on what I was going to talk about. But then I never ended up making a script for it or notes. I came across Elevation Church. It was Stephen Furtick, that's his name. And he was talking about, are you doing things for the right reasons? And he's talking about how his kids play games and they just push on the iPad. And he's asking son, what are you doing, son? And he's like, I'm getting cookies. And he's like, why are you getting, what are you doing? What is it for? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just, getting more cookies, so, and he's telling his dad, it's so fun. Why don't you play? And, he's like, the pastor was talking about how, back in the day, it wouldn't be just tapping, he's actually playing games. Are you pushing X, Y, Z, A? Show me what you're doing. And so he plays, the pastor plays with his son and he does this thing. And he's like, oh, wow, he's getting a lot of cookies. He has 1 million cookies. How cool. And, but then he thought about it and he was like, okay, even though I have 1 million cookies, I can't dunk the cookies into milk. So what's the point? And so he relates that to if you're doing the wrong things for the wrong, yeah, you can't even eat them. Exactly. Thanks, Sean. So he was like, if you're doing things for the wrong reasons, what your end result is, it's going to have no meaning. So he's trying to say you got to do things for the right reason, because then that has fruit. It then changes lives, or it can change your own life. And so he was saying so even if you win that game, the game of doing things that are meaningless, that could be wrong, then you're not really winning. And I thought wow, that was so powerful. It was so fun too, because I do see our kids doing that. I think it's called balloons TDS. That's Shane just what is it?
Balloons TD battle.
Yeah, balloons TD battle. It's the same thing. He's tapping, moving things around to catch these balloons that are coming through and he's trying to pop them so they don't go to the next tower. I don't know, but and I thought, wow, that was really powerful. That is really moving. And I definitely want to keep that in mind. In everything that I do, I want to make sure that it's for the right reasons. And for me, in this time in my season of my life, the right reason is I'm doing it for the sake of God, for his love for his people. And then becomes my love for his people, our people. And so when people are doing things that don't align with how I feel and make me question whether or not I'm doing the right thing, or, if I should be associated with those people, it makes me think. So, and not to say that they're bad, like I was saying, that's just their core and how they think and how they've been raised. It's just a preference for me. And so I just have to think about what is best for myself, my family, a representation like the best representation for my kids. So I hope that you take that into light and can think about it for yourself and apply it and just make sure that you're doing things for the right reasons. So Lena says for the game that I was just talking about, yeah, it's just numbers on a screen. So yeah. Well, I guess I can't believe it. It's been 45 minutes. Time has passed by so fast. I am so hot. I have so much lights on me. I hope I'm not blown out. Hopefully things will get a little bit snazzier in the background. And will improve by the next time you see me. Do you guys have any questions, comments, Sean? No? Lena says, always reevaluate your end result of what you are doing. I agree. I agree. And how that would affect your life at the end. That's so true. That's so true. And I think what our kids go to a school that has virtues. And so I think one of the virtues, should be like morals, a moral virtue, the ability to discern from good and bad. And I think that I wasn't taught that in school. I was taught at home because of my parents, especially my father and my grandmother and my mom. Um, but maybe like in this generation, it would be so great for us to kind of have the virtues. They call them pillars at our school, so they do teach our children that. But I think like, gosh, that'd be so great if other kids are learning that in just, in all the schools. Like that would be really cool because I think now a lot of people are just like teaching them basic things and they might be robots and they might not have feelings and emotions and think about what they're really doing with their actions, like, and the consequences that would occur with it. So that would be really great if they could apply that. Yes. And Lena says, are we making an impact? And so I really agree. If we make a positive impact, because you want to have a legacy. You want others to remember that the goodwill that you've done um, and how wonderful of a person you've been, so you definitely want to leave. My dad's like, he calls it goodwill. Um, and that's on a business term, but he's always like, it's always about the goodwill, which he means legacy. Like, make sure you help out in the community that you serve, that where you are is not for your success. And like also where you are in your life, a lot of times it's like, you have to consider like, and this is from Lena too, who's actually helped me see it, but it's not like your own work, but it's also God's work. He has a hand in what we do. So make sure our friends, you say hi in the chat because I would love to say hi. And if you have any questions, let me know. And then also Lena says, people will always remember how you made them feel when you were around them. Yep. And I live by this. I heard Dr. Laura on a radio talk show that she had, and this is in college when I used to sit in my car in between classes because I didn't live on campus. I lived off campus and it was kind of far away from school. And she always talked about how for your kids, they always remember like not how much money you made, but how much time you spent with them. And so I think that was something that I always kept in my heart, that when I have kids, to make sure that I think about that as well. So just a tip from me to you. But that's all, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week on Friday. Not sure about the time, but probably around 1. But I'll post it here on YouTube so you can see when I go live, or you could find me on my Facebook or Instagram, and I'll put it down on the bottom. Just make sure that you like and you subscribe. And once we get to 1,000, I don't know what the giveaway is, but we're going to try to figure something out. And if you've been from the beginning to the end, like ride or die, my ride or die crew, then, maybe you get some bonus from my raffle that I'm going to put together. Oh, Lena says, in your white swatch on your wall, it's actually gray. You should put the number of subscribers you have for that week, or a quote. Yeah, very cool. I should. Unfortunately, this is not glossy. But maybe I should just put a piece of paper. How about that? You can put a piece of paper and let us know where we're at on subscribers. But if you could share it too, that would be so kind of you. And I would love to have you share what we're doing here. And we're going to be improving and working on everything a part of the show. That's a part of the show. So hopefully you'll join us for the ride. All right, you guys, stay blessed, and thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next Friday. Have a good one. Bye. A Super Bowl weekend, huh?
Mhm.
I'll have a Super Bowl weekend.
Okay, you gotta